China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain stops sticking.
Hey everyone, this is China Chicken and welcome to my channel. This is a review of episode 3 of Hard Knocks, Training Camp with the Buffalo Bills. This was actually my favorite episode of the 3 so far. I thought they did a really good job detailing all the practices and all the meetings and the preseason game in this, and also the joint practice that they did with the Chicago Bears. So let's get into it. I really do love the cold opens that they do with Sean McDermott in the big meeting room with all the players and all the coaches, kind of just going over some plays and, just trying to get them into the game and more mentally in the game, that is. Because, out in the practice field, they're always physical with each other. But in the meeting room, he really wants them mentally to be there. So I love all these cold opens with Sean McDermott lecturing the whole team. They have a couple clips here going back and forth between Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, and Bobby Babich, the defensive coordinator. And they're in a small meeting room with all the other coaches, and they're talking about, what they want to see out of their players. And they highlight some plays on tape from preseason games or from practices. So I thought that was really cool to see the intensity from Joe Brady especially, and then Bobby Babich as well. I thought that was really cool to see. I love to see this from Brandon Beane, the GM. He's, all laid back in his chair right now, his hands behind his head, and he looks so happy. This is first thing in the morning, and this is just right after they finished the deal with James Cook. So they finally signed James Cook to a 4-year, $48 million deal. So Brandon Beane's in his office just waiting for James Cook to come in to get that thing signed so they can get to work. I love seeing it. I also love to see this. Here's James Cook running from the parking lot from his car to the office, and he's running in with a smile on his face because he's about to sign that contract. So good for him. I'm really happy for James Cook. I knew we were going to get this at some point. It's Ed Oliver on the left, and then you got Ty Johnson on the right. And it was pretty crazy to see Ed Oliver, playing with his horses and, brushing them and getting them ready to go out. I didn't realize he had over 30 horses. That's kind of crazy. But, he's always been a big horse guy, horseback riding guy. Back to, growing up in Houston, he had horses growing up and stuff like that. So, and I think he takes Ty Johnson out for a ride for maybe his first time. It seemed like he's never been on a horse before. But, I just love seeing this for Ed Oliver. He loves his horses, man. Here they are in that big meeting room again, and McDermott's highlighting special teams play from one of their new additions that they just brought in this week, named Jimmy Charlo. So he's out there just trying to make the squad, so he can work on on the special teams unit, on kickoffs and punt returns and everything. So he's out there as the gunner going down there and getting a nice tackle. So Sean McDermott highlights that, and he really likes seeing the energy out of Jimmy Charlo. So that's really cool to see, and good for Jimmy Charlo. They talked about him getting injured last year in his rookie year in a preseason game, the first preseason game actually, and then he was out for the whole year. So he thought his career was done, and he gets a chance here in Buffalo to make the team. So good for Jimmy. This was so funny. In practice, they had the first team out there, and Josh Allen throws a ball into the end zone, and Joe Andreessen, Buffalo Joe, he intercepts it. And, the whole team's like, "Go, Buffalo Joe, take it to the end zone." So he runs down to the end zone, and then here comes Josh Allen behind him to try and strip it from him. Joe Andreessen doesn't think anyone's going to be chasing him. It's just practice, So Josh Allen runs down there and smacks the ball out of his hand before he can get into the end zone. I thought that was really funny, and the whole team was cracking up about it. It's just a real nice, lighthearted moment between teammates, and you can really tell this team is really close, real tight, so they always have a fun time out at practice, and that's important. And this is a job. You're making millions of dollars, all these players, you're playing it, but in reality you're playing a game. This is a game. It's football, so you're supposed to be out there having fun. So that's another thing, is emphasizing that you got to have fun doing this, and you play better when you know that you're having fun and not treating it like a job all the time. there is times, where you got to treat it as a job, as a business. It is a business. So, but you got to have moments like this too, where you're having fun and smiling and laughing as well. Here we're at Connor McGovern's house. He's the center for the Buffalo Bills, and he makes this like a weekly thing where he has all the linemen over, even sometimes the whole team over, and he makes pizza for the whole group. This time it was just linemen, I believe. But yeah, he was making pizzas for everyone. He was making cookies as well. So it's always good to have a guy to, go over to their house and have some fun with. So he was out there making pizzas for the whole team. So good for Connor McGovern. And I guess he's been doing this for years too. He just loves doing that, making pizzas and everything from scratch as well. So good for him. I thought this was another random funny moment between teammates. They're out in Chicago right now doing a joint practice with the Chicago Bears, and you got Deion Dawkins and Kincaid here just sweating their asses off on the sideline waiting to go in for another play, and they're looking up in the sky and they see a falcon up there, and Kincaid's like talking about falcons. He's got all this random knowledge about falcons or hawks or whatever, and he was saying this one type of falcon, I forget what he says, peregrine falcon or peregrine hawk, something like that it can get up to like over 150 miles per hour flying. And he was just saying how much he would just love to be up there, just gliding in the wind. So I thought that was a really special moment between these two. It was kind of funny and just kind of random that HBO caught this, but just one of those moments on the sideline where you might be watching a game and you're like, what are these guys talking about? So, they just talk about the most random stuff, just like normal humans do, standing on the side there, just talking about falcons that they see up in the air. So I thought that was pretty cool for them to highlight this. Here we got another moment between Tre'Davious White and Maxwell Harrison, who's recovering from an LCL sprain injury, and you can tell that they're just having fun here, sitting on the side, and Tre'Davious White's like all sweaty, and he's saying how much he sweats, and he takes off his sock and wrings it out, and a whole just like puddle of water comes out of his sock, and it was kind of gross to watch, but you can tell how hard these guys are working, how much they're sweating and working so much. Another thing that I noticed here in this little clip, but Maxwell Harrison on the left here really does look like Chris Rock to me. It's kind of funny. Let me know if you noticed that, but to me he looks like Chris Rock, the guy in the red there. So let me know below if you noticed that as well. Does he look like Chris Rock to you? Because he really does to me. A more athletic Chris Rock, obviously, but I just thought that was kind of interesting. So this was another like lighthearted moment between teammates. They're doing like a team bonding exercise, I guess, where some of the players are up, and this one guy, this coach, I think he's like he does plays and Broadway plays and stuff, and they're going through like some improv stuff. So he's telling them, he's pointing at them and telling them what to do, skibbity bibbity or something like that. He's having them say that, and I don't know, you'd have to watch the clip to understand, but it was kind of funny. And I was just thinking at this point in here, obviously Josh Allen's in the middle. They got a kicker here and a wide receiver. And this really just seems like an exercise that a quarterback would be really good at, just like by knowing plays and calling out random plays here. That's kind of what this is all about. So they kind of have a little competition here to see who's the best at it. And Josh Allen's actually really good at it, but he doesn't win. The guy on his right, on our left here in the gray, the kicker, Caden Davis, he ends up winning this little competition that they did. But it was pretty funny to watch. Everyone was cracking up in the background. KJ Hamler had some moments where everyone was laughing at him. You can tell he's kind of like the class clown type guy here, or I guess the football team clown. So I thought that was really funny to see. And good for Caden Davis winning this competition here. Okay, and then this is the moments I really thought they were going to be pretty negative on the Bills in this HBO Hard Knocks series, but we didn't really get too much negativity, even though the Bills did lose 38-0. But it's preseason; you always got things to work on and everything. But I really thought HBO was going to go hard on the Bills and be like, "Wow, they really need to pick up the pace for the regular season, losing 38-0 to the Chicago Bears, but they didn't go too hard into them. I was hoping to see a little bit more, of the players on the sideline getting pissed off, or even the players in the game. Sean McDermott, you can get a little bit of frustration out of him, but even not too much from that. But I really thought this episode was a great episode. They did a good job highlighting Ed Oliver and Josh Allen, Buffalo Joe, Jimmy Charlo, KJ Hamler, the James Cook contract signing that he did, Brandon Beane here. So, yeah, really great episode overall. Let me know what you guys think of the episode. I think there's only 2 more left in the season of Hard Knocks with the Buffalo Bills. So let me know what you guys think down below. Leave a like, subscribe, and have a great day, everybody.
Chicken to China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain stops